Welcome back, everybody, to Kitchenorama. Hope you all are staying safe and enjoying a great evening. Follow me at different platforms so that we can stay connected. Now, this Valentine's Day, I made something called as berry Rumantic ice cream. Well, let's get started. For this recipe, we need heavy whipping cream. We need half and half. We need 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. You can use the fat-free version. We are using 1 packet of Philadelphia original cream cheese, which is roughly 8 ounces. We need to use it at room temperature. You need 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. You need a measuring cup. You need a medley of frozen berries, completely your choice what kind of berries you want to use. I'm using raspberries and blackberries and thimbleberries. I'm going to be using some wildflower honey there, your choice of honey, 2 to 3 tablespoons of Old Monk rum, and half cup of sugar. Now get your Instant Pot going on saute mode, and we're going to add 2 cups of half and half. We're going to go ahead and add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. Now the brand doesn't really matter, whichever one you are comfortable with, you can use it. I am trying to keep my ingredients a little organic here. I'm using half a cup of sugar. I'm going to go ahead and add that, and I'm going to use a regular whisk to mix it all well together. Now we have to remember we are cooking our milk on saute mode, and we want to make sure nothing sticks to the bottom or burns. So constantly whisking it is a good idea. Once your milk is warmed up, you're going to go ahead and add your 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. Stir it well together, and you can start seeing that it's getting a little thicker. Now take your cornstarch, add a little bit of that hot milk, whisk it in together, make sure there are no lumps. And once it is good and nice and well, go ahead and add it back to the rest of the milk. Now your cornstarch acts as a thickening agent here. Now we're not using too much, we're just using 2 teaspoons. Give it a good stir, good mix, making sure again, nothing is burning. And at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and turn my saute mode off. Take your container out of Instant Pot and let it sit. Take your cream cheese in a bowl and use the back of a fork to mash it well together. Now you can use a whisk at this point, or if you have a hand blender or a mixer, you can use that. Remember, if you're using a hand blender, you want to use a bigger bowl. So go ahead and give it a good mix to make sure that there are no lumps and it's all nice and soft. You can see how that cream cheese is trying to fly out, and that's when I realized I either needed a big bowl or I should go with a whisk. Now once your cream cheese is all mushed up and beaten up, you're going to use a little bit of your warm milk, the whole milk mixture that you made. You're going to add a little bit into your cream cheese and use a whisk to blend your cream cheese into that milk so that you have a good, nice, thick, runny, pasty consistency. As you can see here, this is all your cream cheese with a little bit of milk. And once you have mixed that, you're just going to go ahead and add your milk cream cheese mixture to the rest of your milk. And you will see that once you add this to the rest of your milk, it starts thickening up. This is beautiful. This is the easiest no churn ice cream I have made. I'm using a hand blender right into this container one more time because I want to make sure there are no lumps and I can break it out. And once that's done, decide your bowl. You're going to be serving and freezing. You'll be freezing your ice cream. So I'm using this porcelain bowl. I'm going to go ahead and add my milk mixture. I'm going to let it sit at room temperature for some time because I don't want to immediately cover with a plastic wrap. I don't want any steam bubbles, any water droplets forming. And once your mixture is at room temperature, go ahead and cover it with a plastic wrap and put it in the freezer for roughly about 3 hours. You don't want to freeze it completely because we still have to put the jam drizzle on top of it. And while my ice cream is freezing in the refrigerator, I am going to get started with my berries jam drizzle. So take a shallow bottom pan on medium flame, add your frozen berries. Again, you can use as many berries as you would like, whichever ones are your preference. And once your berries start warming up, You can add about 2 tablespoons of sugar. Give it a good stir. And you're going to let it ooze its juices. You can always cover it with a lid. And after you put the lid on for roughly about 2 minutes, you will see that your berries are starting to ooze and start becoming softer. Now I'm using some dried blueberries that I got from Trader Joe. The best part about using berries and not mushing them completely is because you want to have that fruity texture with every bite of your ice cream. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of honey here, but if you're not a big fan of honey and if you would like to replace it with maple syrup or agave syrup, go ahead and do that. That's totally fine. And once everything comes together, I'm going to put the lid back on and let it simmer for another minute to 2 minutes. And as you can see, I don't want to mush all my berries. I want to keep that, as I said, the texture intact. It's soft, but it's still good. So I'm going to get pieces of that fresh fruit in my ice cream. Set it at room temperature, and once your jam comes to room temperature, that is when you are going to add your rum. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of rum. Now if you are not a rum fan, you can add any flavored bourbon or whiskey to it. The key is to make sure this ice cream is boozy. And after 3 hours, as you can see, some of that steam has still come out, and my ice cream is not too frozen, but it's thick enough where when I put my jam, the jam doesn't go and sit straight into the bottom. And that's why we froze it before we added the jam a little bit, because we don't want our jam sitting at the bottom. We want to be able to drizzle it so that it is incorporated in the body of your ice cream. Use the back of a chopstick or a toothpick, whatever you have, create your swirls, cover it back up with plastic wrap, and throw it in the refrigerator into the freezer for another 3 hours. Overnight is even better. Now, quick tip, do not throw away that extra jam. I'm coming up with a new recipe of what you can do with that extra jam. Meanwhile, enjoy this fresh berry Rumantic ice cream with friends and family, and have a great Valentine's Day.